Hello there.
So with Jurassic World Rebirth having hit worldwide here in the last week or so, or at least domestically in a lot of countries internationally as well, over the last week, it is a massive hit. Surprisingly, it is the lowest box office pull of the entire Jurassic franchise, but it still remains a pretty big hit worldwide, pulling in $322 million, meaning this movie could possibly pull in $1 billion. We'll have to see how it does over the next few weeks, but with Superman and Fantastic Four both coming out in the next 3 to 4 weeks, it's going to be some stiff competition, specifically with Superman coming out in the next few days. But now we are getting, and this is a big talk online, this is what a lot of people are discussing online, but now we are starting to get deleted scenes coming out for the movie, with people even going as far as to say, #release the Edwards cut, where people want to see a more expanded movie that sees more of Gareth Edwards' original vision for the movie. To be honest with you, it seems very much like a little bit of a cut-up mess compared to some of the stuff we heard about the movie, and even some of the deleted scenes that we have heard about the film. And like I've touched on in other videos, I'm kind of personally theorizing that there were too many cooks in the kitchen, there were too many people getting in Gareth Edwards' head to kind of change his mind about what we were going to see in the film. But in this video, what we are talking about is all of the cut species that we know about in Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm going to explain to you guys how this is going to work in this video, so if you enjoy this kind of content, then check out my channel. I have a whole bunch more stuff just like this. And let's do it.
The Atomic Fair.
So what I am going to base this off of is the original plot leak, not the original plot leak. The original one we got came from X back in June of 2024, but the one that came out in December, right before the trailer came out a few months later, was very, very close and very accurate to the film, with a few changed scenes here and there. So I'm going to base what we're going to talk about in this video off of that plot leak and what it said in terms of the species that we were set to see in the movie. So for one, under returning dinosaurs in this plot leak that came out in December, it said that it was going to be a 𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐻𝗎𝐿, an 𝗃𝗏𝑒𝑠auros, an 𝗟𝑔𝐿𝑖osaurus, a 𝑃arasaurolophus, and a pteranodon. I think we may have seen a couple of those species in the movie. I can't remember, maybe very, very briefly, but for the most part, we didn't really get very many of those species in the film, and these were a lot of returning species that were actually from old Jurassic movies, kind of making a grander return in this film. But, you know, the first 3 Jurassic films really capitalized on a lot of different dinos in the movie. Jurassic World kind of did too, but both Fallen Kingdom and Dominion specifically didn't really have a ton of dinosaur species, in my opinion, compared to some of the older films, or even really a ton of dinosaur action. That's what I feel was really missing from the last 2 films, and now even Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm not going to say there wasn't a ton of dino action, but all of the dinosaur action we saw was just minimized down to like 1 scene or 2 scenes for like the Spinosaurus, very brief scenes of each dinosaur, versus very drawn out action scenes that we were hearing about leading up to the film, and then even stuff that we saw that was cut from the trailers. This is something I'm going to touch on in another video where I actually cover every deleted scene that we know about so far for Jurassic World Rebirth. But going into some of the returning dinosaurs that we were set to see with slight redesigns, this is what that plot leak back in December had to say. So we were going to see a Triceratops with a mix between the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World designs, with a focus on its osteoderms, a T-Rex, of course, which we saw, the Raptor, which we know was heavily cut down compared to what we were supposed to see in the movie, even compared to the trailers, even compared to the marketing. Very strange choice there. The Quetzalcoatlus, which we did see, the Mosasaurus we saw, the Spinosaurus we saw very briefly. And you can even see in the descriptions of these dinosaurs how accurate it is to what we saw in the movie, leading to more evidence that this leak was most likely real and was stuff that was ultimately changed around in the film. In terms of new dinosaurs that we were set to see that seemed like they were cut, the list here says the Titanosaurus, which we saw, the Aqualops, which we saw, the Maiasaurus, which we actually didn't see, which was supposed to be the first appearance of this dinosaur in the Jurassic franchise, would have been very interesting. Of course, the D-Rex, and then there was TBD, which was another failed clone dinosaur, which ultimately ended up being the Mutodons, but it said it was xenomorph inspired here. Very interesting that this leak didn't even mention that it was winged. I wonder if a lot of this stuff was last minute changes, even the Mutodons being in the film. But yeah, even surrounding the plot here, you can see how close this was to the film, where it says like additional returning dinosaurs, changed additions and details like that, but it says adding on to the above, it's the Spinosaurus that attacks the family on the boating expedition. No mention of a Purosaurus, however, there's a dinosaur whose generic base is from an unspecified species, so there may be some hope. In terms of other dinosaurs we did see in the film, we did see an Apatosaurus in the very beginning of the film for a very, very brief moment in a city, which was just not a very exciting film. We did not really get a very good look at any of these supposed species we were supposed to see in this movie, and it is a big disappointment, guys. So comment down below, let me know what you think. Do you think we were even supposed to see a lot of these dinosaurs? Do you think this was stuff that was cut out? Honestly, based on everything we're hearing, it seems more and more likely that this stuff was probably cut from the film. And do you think we're ultimately going to hear about even more species that were possibly cut from this movie when ultimately and inevitably the art book comes out for the movie and everything like that? So comment down below what you think about all that stuff, and for this video, that is all I got. So until the next one, be safe and stay well. Bye-bye.